Welcome to Being at Home with George. I'm excited to be here on this July 4th weekend coming up, and this idea of positive freedom, Independence Day. And I like to talk about freedom. Of course, this is what this country was founded on, the freedom to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. But this is also the summertime. So I wanted to talk about positive freedom, the idea that we can make certain choices, that we can make wise choices, but the main thing is how we approach it and reflect on this idea of it's been 8 or 9 days since the beginning of summer. Summer began on the 21st. There it is 9 days later, and it goes fast. And so the best thing I like about it is now is the time to embrace the moment, to really enjoy the summer, because here in the Northeast, it doesn't last that long. So I was thinking about a theme or this idea of rest and relaxation, summertime, vacation time. I guess the official summertime starts or vacation season starts after Memorial Day. And here we are coming up on 4th of July. And so I just wanted to talk about three things. What I would talk about: celebrate, being grateful, having gratitude for being able to enjoy the summer and to be present to it. Some of us can go on vacation, and so this idea of an attitude of gratitude, so that when the summer is gone, we won't have any regrets, that we've gotten the most out of it. We've gotten the most out of our lives, out of ourselves. So that's really important, this idea of celebration. And so for me personally, there's been a lot of different things in the last month, especially the last 2 weeks. I was able to finish my second book, submit the manuscript for that. I just had a beta test for a youth program that went really well. Was able to get the house painted and the things that have to be done around the house, especially when you've been in the house 20 plus years. And my health. I have my health, and I have this ability to actually, after recording this at home with George, that normally during the year, especially in the winter months, it's too dark for me to go for a walk. Now it's summertime and there's enough light, there's daylight savings time where it's enough light for me to get out there. So just to celebrate the moment, celebrate this idea of positive freedom, celebrate the idea that we get to choose response, that we make choices. And then the second thing is to calibrate, to reflect on experience, because we know that true understanding comes from reflecting on experience and calibrating. We're moving in the right direction, and so that's all we have to do. I'm reminded of the story of this man asking Socrates how to get to Mount Olympus. And Socrates said, just keep making steps in the right direction. And so for us, I feel like, how do we create a life where we're not trying to sequence pleasure upon pleasure upon pleasure and just see life as a progression? This idea of success being a progressive realization of a worthy ideal or goal. So we're making steps in the right direction, whether we call it Mount Olympus or we're just talking about just living life more fully and creatively, that we're making steps in the right direction. As I said before, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And so that's the thing, is to be calibrating, be reflecting on what are we doing and what are we getting. And after having so much success, this is episode number 111, is that we need to be able to relax. So, yeah, we can celebrate, we can calibrate, but we have to relax. And last week, we talked about this idea of pockets of stillness, that we need to reset, reboot, renew. And that's one of the interesting things. They call it going on holiday in Europe. We call it vacation here. And when we go to vacation, whether we go to some scenic spot, but I imagine millions of people will be traveling this weekend. And for those who don't travel, even if you don't, we still have this ability to reset, reboot, renew, because renewal is really important. I know we've had quite an amazing 111 episodes, and just thinking about the last 2 weeks and all of the accomplishments, all of the activities that I've been involved in with my staff, that now is the time to rest and reflect and calibrate on, yeah, this is how we did it, step by step, inch by inch. And that we can actually reflect and relax and realize that it's in the relaxing that we're able to rest and digest, if you will. We're able to have enough space so that we can create a future we want to live into. And so, how do you do that? So, one of the things that I normally do, which I didn't do in the beginning of this process, but I'm doing it now, is I begin each sequence and at home with George with this ability to embrace, say yes to everything, and at the same time generating hope. So, creating a new future has to do with understanding. We focus on what we want, we embrace whatever comes up, and we generate the hope. We create space between stimulus and responses so that in that space we get to choose an alignment with the life that we want to live. And the way we do that is connecting with spirit. And so generating a hope, and we talked about enthusiasm. How do you generate enthusiasm? By learning and achievement. So learning by embracing and saying, yes, what's the lesson? And then by achieving, we develop enthusiasm. So the learning and the achievement. And so that's what we've been doing. Everything that comes up, it's an opportunity to learn what's the lesson. We learn the lesson and we keep it moving. But it has to do with this idea of enthusiasm or entheos, that which means the God within or the spirit within us, that we need to connect with that. And Edgar Cayce had a three-pronged approach to life. He said, the spirit is the life, which is what we're talking about in theos or spirit. The mind is the builder and the physical is the result. So this idea of connecting to spirit, and we call that spirit love. So generating love. Love is all you need. This is what the song says. This has been my experience. That's another way of talking about God or spirit, is the spirit of love. And with love, we make things grow. It's not about damaging or destruction. It's about how do we embrace, how do we include, how do we make things grow? And how can we be more loving and more compassionate and get beyond this illusion of separateness? Because we're not going to get there if we're doing it out of the fear mode. We can only get there by love. And that's why we talk about feeding the love wolf and not feeding the fear wolf, and creating space between stimulus and response. So in that space, we can choose love. We can choose the spirit of being connected to one and all. So just a little reflection of celebrate that we have a masterpiece and we have the capacity to live full and creative lives, and we can have access to it, but only we can access it. And that to the degree that we access that, we can create a future we would love to live into, that we are excited and enthusiastic about living into. So that's an inside job. That's playing the inner game. And so let's do that. Let's celebrate, calibrate, and relax, and renew, reboot, and reset.